What if all the fish in the ocean suddenly disappeared? After every heartbreaking separation, friends and family would say, "Don't worry, there's plenty of fish in the ocean." What would they say if no more fish were left in the ocean? Perhaps in the near-distant future, your friends and family would need to find something else to say post-breakup. Although if there are no more fish left in the oceans, a broken heart will be the least of your worries. What would happen if all the fish in the ocean suddenly disappeared? Would the human race still be able to continue? Is there a realistic possibility of this ever happening? Welcome to Mystify, and this is what would happen if all the fish suddenly disappeared from the oceans. Let's go back to our oceans that are currently still teeming with life. From the freezing polar regions to the warm tropics, from the surface down to the darkest depths, different fish species adapted over millions of years to flourish in various underwater environments in equilibrium with other creatures that call the oceans home. Over the last century, the once utopia that fish lived in started changing, and their numbers have fallen drastically since. Pollution, climate change and overfishing are the three major contributors to the dwindling fish numbers. But we will get into that a little bit later. For now, let's imagine an unprecedented event occurs where all the fish in the ocean suddenly and unexpectedly vanish into thin air. Many of our British viewers can't imagine such a nightmarish scenario where they will be deprived of a delicious fish and chips takeaway. But the implications of this scenario extend way beyond our stomachs and threaten our very existence on this planet. When fish magically vanish, the predators that feed on them would follow soon after. Dolphins, seals, orcas and other mammals would continue to hopelessly search for fish. Some would survive longer than others as they start testing and tasting other sea creatures such as crabs, starfish, shellfish and other non-fish marine animals. Certain whale species would still be able to feed on krill and plankton. But they are not safe from starvation either. Fish form an integral part of the biosphere. Smaller animals feed on their excrement and others feed on their eggs, babies and decaying corpses. Soon enough, these creatures would also die of starvation, which would lead to a total collapse of the ocean biosphere. For the time being, the majority of humans can still adapt and continue to exist. 16% of people on Earth depend on marine animals for their primary source of protein. These unlucky people will be the first to suffer. There would be famine and starvation in certain regions where rural populations are highly dependent on the ocean for survival. Those in isolated areas like the First Nation inhabitants of northern Canada or natives from the countless small islands around the world would experience it the worst at first. Millions of people would instantly lose their jobs globally. The smaller coastal villages would not be able to offer them alternative jobs, which means urbanization would explode all over the world. As the cities get filled with thousands of newly unemployed people, the crime rates would soar and the police force will be under immense pressure. Again, with marine life products off the supermarket shelves, the demand for other protein-rich products increases. This demand will push prices up, which in turn leads to inflation going up, which means people have less money to spend, and so the vicious circle continues. But humanity as a whole would still be able to continue living for now. Fish play an integral part in the reef ecosystem. Without them, the whole ecosystem dies. Reefs deprived of life begin to become unstable, crack and disintegrate. With these natural barriers out of the way, many countries become more exposed to waves caused by storms. But the damage will not extend beyond the coastal areas. More terrible effects await the people on land, even those living thousands of miles away from the ocean. Between 50 to 80% of the world's oxygen is produced in the oceans. Plankton plants, algae and some bacteria produce oxygen as a byproduct. Prochlorococcus is the smallest photosynthetic organism on Earth, but these tiny creatures are responsible for producing 20% of the oxygen on Earth. That is more than all the tropical rainforest on the Earth. combined. But without fish, they too would struggle to continue living. The mixing of ocean water is crucial to ensure heat. Fish play an important role in mixing water layers found at different depths. With the lack of movement and nutrients such as fish excrements and decaying particles, the microorganisms would struggle to survive and produce oxygen. Now, humans face enormous problems as oxygen levels on land begin to decrease. Governments will spend massive amounts of money on planting trees and turning cities green, but it wouldn't be enough to replace the oxygen that is no longer released by ocean life. Countries such as Brazil and the Congo will become prime real estate as the rainforests supply sufficient oxygen to those specific parts of the world. Other countries will become desperate and wage war on countries with sufficient forest to sustain oxygen levels. But oxygen for breathing is not the only problem. With a change in the proportion of oxygen in the atmosphere, weather patterns change drastically and cause droughts and catastrophic storms globally. With the rainfall becoming scarcer or more unpredictable in some regions of the world, agriculture becomes impossible and crops start to fail. This will lead to food prices skyrocketing, and the first to starve will be the poor. But the wealthy won't be sheltered from this catastrophe for very long. If you are shaking your head and thinking this scenario is completely exaggerated, think again, because something similar happened before. The Permian-Triassic extinction event is the worst extinction event ever to occur on Earth. It made the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event, the one that killed the dinosaurs, pale in comparison. The Permian-Triassic extinction event happened on Earth about 2.4 billion years ago. It killed 96% of all marine species, and about 3 of every 4 species on land died out. This happened due to ocean acidification caused by high carbon dioxide levels and lower oxygen levels. Let's return to our catastrophic scenario. By now, wars are waging between countries. People desperately fight for food and water, while slowly smothering in the oxygen-deprived atmosphere, but they won't be able to scavenge for long. The continuous decrease in oxygen will influence the ozone layer, and the Earth will be exposed to high levels of ultraviolet radiation. Initially, people won't be able to go outside during the day as the rays will be too harmful. But the ultraviolet rays aren't just harmful to humans, it is hazardous to all life on Earth. With the latest resources essential to human survival becoming scarcer, the world's elite retreats to fortified bunkers with plenty of supplies, oxygen and entertainment to last them for years to come. In time, thanks to the radiation and low oxygen levels, most life on Earth will become extinct, similar to what happened during the Permian-Triassic extinction. The elites still hiding in their bunkers will remain hopeful that they will be able to exit soon and restart civilization on Earth like futuristic Adams and Eves. But disappointment awaits them. The Earth will not recover soon. It took the Earth about 10 million years to recover after the Permian-Triassic extinction event. Some of the elite's self-sustaining shelters might be able to support human life for generations to come. But due to the small number of people trapped in these bunkers, the negative genetic traits of incest would start to show. But those who do wander out of these bunkers would not resemble the humans we know today. And it all started with fish. Now, take a deep breath and relax, because what we just explained won't happen in a short time. It will take decades or even a century or more for the oxygen levels to drop as drastically as explained before. And so, all the fish won't just magically disappear overnight, except if they all get beamed up into spaceships by aliens. Come to think of it, if you look at some of these fish roaming the deep, it won't come as a big surprise if they are indeed aliens. But I disagree. Although fish won't disappear overnight, they are slowly disappearing from our oceans at an alarming rate. The maximum of world catches of oceanic fish peaked in 1989 and is declining even if there are more sophisticated fleets of boats out there today. One of the contributing factors is overfishing. It was recently estimated that the massive trawlers that catch 400 tons of fish in their nets in a single catch throw out 40% of the dead catch they don't need. In addition, Pollution plays a significant role in the dwindling fish numbers. There is nowhere for fish to hide from humanity's waste. In 2019, Victor Vescovo broke the record for the deepest submarine dive in human history. At the bottom of the Challenger Deep, the deepest known place on Earth, he discovered a plastic bottle. Global warming plays a significant role too, but this natural event is a recurring one, and fish survived countless climate cycles in the past. But never before did they have to survive such a threat from both nature and humanity simultaneously. Only time will tell if we can curb our bad habits and allow fish to flourish again. In the meantime, if you ever get heartbroken again, think of this video and be grateful that there is still plenty of fish in the ocean today. Are you concerned about the dwindling fish numbers? Or are there still plenty of fish in the ocean? Feel free to post your comments in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching this video. We hope to see you next time here on Mystify.